This is Haunted Sponge.
Uh-oh. What up?
Brian, do you need to click anything so they could see it, or what do you think?
Hey.
Oh,
I wasn't sure.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you Sponge?
All right. Hey, I'm the guy that wrote Blackwood, that podcast.
Oh, you are the guy who wrote that Blackwood podcast. Now
Yeah,
you
that's
said
right,
something else about it, right? Is it a next step with that Blackwood?
The podcast is in such like a weird place for me mentally that I'm just keeping track of when you mention it, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, you mentioned it on a couple of Aftershows, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing talk about like a TV show and stuff, but I don't really have any involvement in that, so we'll see. Whatever.
But that podcast, like, I heard of it before you talked about it because all the podcasts I listened to, like, were talking about it. They like linked to it or whatever. So I don't know how you got that deal, but that's sick.
Yeah, it was co-produced by a podcast company that's like huge. They're called Wondery.
Oh, Wondery is huge. They do like the best podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. And so they were like in charge of half the show. The other thing is a company called HauntedSponge's.
Which
is you may have seen them online as well.
Is that named after the Terminator 2 vehicle?
No, it's like a male. It's a. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a kind of thing where it's like they mail you clues and you try to like it's like a game kind of thing.
Oh,
you try to like, figure out who a killer is.
Yeah, it's basically like your pen pals with like Hannibal Lecter, or that was like the original idea. Like you get a package and there are a bunch of cryptic things to solve.
Yeah,
so you guys have this podcast murder thing in common. It seems like your essence is murder and podcasting.
That's not my essence.
That's what you should have. Well, now, caller here, do you have a suggestion for what Shawn's essence should be? Because he couldn't figure it out.
Like, you need a new essence.
What is the one thing that makes Shawn tick? What's his thing?
Oh, he's got that spark. He's got that like boyish charm.
But is it boyish charm?
This is Shawn we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes across the board. I don't want to neglect any of you.
No, but thank you. Hey, so with I forgot what were the references? You said there were references to us in the podcast in Blackwood.
Yeah.
What? Can you remind me what they are?
Yeah, I wanted to. I'm really bad at marketing and social media and stuff, but like I wanted to tell people to like, can you spot the Mega64 references? I may have tweeted something and I just never heard anything back, so I don't know if they were kind of obscure. But I tried to hit all three of the main guys. I tried to hit you guys. So there's a Shawn Bodie is referenced.
Yes.
Which I had to put in the script, and there's like bonus material stuff that I wrote. I wrote all these like in-universe news articles that are supposed to like deepen the story. And so I had to spell Bodie, B-O-D-E-Y, so the performers would read it correctly.
Okay. Cool.
Rocco knows all that. Yeah, he knows all that.
That was a good move.
And then I think the final name of one of the characters was David Acosta.
Nice.
Cool.
But there was also an obscure one that's in episode 2 where they play somebody who was live streaming. They play the audio of it, and he starts it off by going, this is going to be a video.
Holy shit! I just heard that. Yeah, they definitely. I didn't catch it, but like that's really funny. That
No kidding.
Yeah, that's in episode 2. It's like not far in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I was working on something else that I don't know if is going to take off, but I started naming a character Chatfield.
Yes.
And it started to feel like it's a podcast with someone named Chatfield in it, and it started to feel too made up, which is weird because you're a real person, but
yeah,
I kept it in there.
Good. Yeah, keep it in there. Don't change that.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, no, I do, actually. So you were talking before on like the main show about urban legends in San Diego. I do a podcast about monsters and urban legends and stuff. Are there any stories? I always loved when I was a kid, like hearing a legend about somebody, even just in your neighborhood, like there being like a creepy neighbor, the spooky old man down the road.
Right.
Maybe you never verified it, but it used to be like stories that my friends and I would tell each other that would freak us out. Do you have anything like that?
We in an old neighborhood I used to live in, there were the mutants across the street. It was just a family that was just causing problems no matter what they did or where they went. There was just, they, accidentally drove their car into the pool, or it was just shit that was like, how does one family fuck up this much? It was just like goofy stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was a so actually we've actually filmed in this location, but when I was a kid, my backyard was the high school we went to, and so behind that was like these like a mountain with these like huge rocks on it, which we filmed our Dragon Ball video a few years back. But the kids in the neighborhood would say that like people lived in those rocks. There was like a whole like little group of like 4 or 5 people who would be homeless and live there. And so Luke and I like one day we went out and like tried to investigate, and there was no one there. But we were told there were. But
fair enough.
Rocco, was it just you and Dominic who thought that they were mutants?
No, my family just thought it was like, who are these people?
They
It was
have
a
to be
pretty nice
mutants.
neighborhood that we were in back then, and
Well, like
and it
mutants
was just yeah.
that looked normal on the outside, but you knew.
Oh
that
yeah. We weren't
fiends-
like physically making fun of them. They were just
No, I
like
hear ya.
we thought they had it was almost like X-Men superpowers. That
Yeah.
everything they touched was fucked up.
you know what probably happened though is like this is something that I think we fall for is like my dad would say something like that, and then I would think, oh, he's not joking. Like this is real, and then I build up in my head like how there's actually fucking a mutant or whatever. So
I lived on a cul-de-sac, and the person right next door to me, we were all convinced was a prostitute. And we never had hard proof, but there were all these like little clues. Like there were weird guys that she was either a prostitute or a drug dealer, or possibly both. But I remember this was the 90s, and we could see through the window. She had mirrors on her ceiling, like mounted onto the ceiling, and that for us was that's a prostitute.
Yep.
Who else
Yep.
would have? Dude, she has mirrors on the ceiling so she could watch while she does it with people. And there were always like weird people who didn't live there would like come out of the house having fist fights and like fight each other,
Nice.
and then get into a car and speed off, and we'd be like, what the fuck's happening? And then one day I came home from school, and the garage door of that house was open, and that I'd never seen that before, and there were police with like sheriff jackets going through raiding everything. And we never saw anybody in that house again. None of those people. Somebody else. One of my friends actually, their mom bought it and moved in. And it's like, dude, you're living in the hooker house now.
Poof in the chat has a good point. She might have back problems and has to do her hair in bed. Don't assume the worst about
There
it.
would
that.
always
Could
be more than once. This guy would come, didn't know who he was, and he would park a pickup truck in the driveway, and he'd go inside for like half an hour, and he'd always leave a little kid in the pickup truck while he was in the house for half an hour. And me and my friends would always feel so bad for that kid. Be like, that poor kid. Like, should we ask him to come and play with us? Be like, nah, fuck that.
that's scary. That sucks.
That was probably a safe move. I don't know if you want to get involved with that.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we didn't know. We were like 9, 10, 11. She lived there for probably like 4 or 5 years.
Garrett, you got
Her name
anything?
was Sally.
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah, I would believe. My friend told me Goombas were real. They live in the sewer. So, like at the elementary school, like any storm grate or any like sewer manhole or anything, it's like look. We would like look down in there at recess, like I think I see shit.
Yeah.
Like people tell you stuff like that, and you would believe that that this urban myth or whatever. But that was always so localized to your elementary school, your playground, your neighborhood.
Do you guys remember when we were growing up, we had one homeless person in our
Yes.
town?
Yes.
Yeah.
That woman?
That woman, yeah.
We had one homeless person in our town. Everybody called her Santee Sally.
Yep.
But then I remember somebody was like, her name's actually Pamela. My brother's cousin's friend went up one day and said, hey, what's your name? And she said, Pamela. So then that started getting out. And she was, this is sad now that I think about it.
Yeah.
She was always pregnant.
Always pregnant.
She was
Gareth,
like,
always
pregnant.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Garrett reminded me of when you're talking about elementary school.
Yeah.
Totally did have that. There was on the other side of the fence where we would have like recess, there was a big hill, just a random hill. Not very big. It was almost like a berm separating the fence from the road on the other side.
Yeah.
But when they would bring kids out, or just over the fence, there was like a preschool area or kindergarten or whatever on the other side. And for some reason, every time they would walk kids past that hill, these kids would all like look at the hill and try to run up it, and they'd always fall. And me and my friend Martine in probably like 6th grade were always like, you notice every time kids go by this hill, it's like they're drawn to it and they have to reach the top of it. They go fucking crazy. And it happened every time. We'd see this kid. Oh, this kid's gonna eat shit. There he goes. He's falling down the hill. And so yeah, we called it Magnetic Mountain. We were like, there's something in that hill that is drawing kids near it, like Close Encounters shit. They all try to get to the top for some reason. It happened every single time.
But
anyway.
you're that young that you just believe the thing you made up in your head.
Well, hey, I'm an adult now. I still believe it.
Still might be
I
magnetic.
dare anyone to walk by Magnetic Mountain and not climb it.
Well, I'm gonna save up for a $40 million laser that we could go test the magnetism.
Okay.
Find out if that magnet's curved.
Okay.
Or what's going on?
Get a magnet.
No,
Oh shit.
no.
Just someone needs to have a fucking kid and send them to that mountain.
Magnetic Hill just reminded me. When we were growing up in Santee, there were a lot of like dirt fields all over the city. A lot of them have been developed now, like turned into
They're houses.
highways.
Yeah, it took a
and
while, but
houses,
it's developed, yeah.
For a while, it was just kind of like neighborhoods of new homes and then just expansive, like undeveloped fields.
Yeah.
And me and my friends would always go ride our bikes and like jump on like bike jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this one field we would go to, and for whatever reason, there was this big hole that had been dug in the middle of the field. It was probably like 4 feet deep and maybe like 8 feet wide. It was just a big circle. And there was always ripped out porno pages in that hole. And it was always there, and there were always new ones.
Whoa.
And we would always like just go and like scavenge. Like, all right, what do we? And it was, you know, like, I don't know, just something stupid kids do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a kid, so you can't do anything with it. You can't take it home because you're like, what if my mom sees this? I'm gonna be busted.
Hide it in the bush.
But I like now I think about like that was just some homeless guy's jerk off safe space. Yeah. And then a bunch of like 10-year-old kids on their bikes would come up like, you know, once a week or every 2 or 3 weeks and just see what was going on there.
The scariest thing that I've ever seen, like something like this, that you think like, what the fuck did I walk into? What is this? Was with you guys. And it was when we went to go film something and we found like the lair of cat food tins. Do you remember this? Like,
Yes.
we went to go film.
Yeah.
Not too far from our house.
It was our video for
Far Cry. Yes.
Oh,
and we walked in
yeah.
and
You told
it
me
was
about
like,
this.
oh, there's some cat food cans. And we looked around and we realized like there were thousands of empty cans of cat food. And it was the scariest thing. Like, what did we just fucking walk into? Why is this cat food here? It was so fucking scary.
I got a thing that scared me more than that we were all present for. When we went to go film the intro, I believe, to our Journey video, and Shawn was like, hey, I went on a class that took us out to the middle of the desert in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my God,
I remember
And
this.
there were like mountains. It looked just like Journey. We could go there. So we drove probably like 90 minutes to get there. And after an hour, you have to turn off and take a dirt road driving through the mountains. And we're driving for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We come around a corner and there is just a dude standing next to a motorcycle with like a big leather vest and a big ponytail. And he's just, and we drive past him and all of us like make eye contact with him. And we're like, I wish I didn't fucking look at that guy. We are in such a remote area. This guy is absolutely a criminal.
Yeah.
He's absolutely waiting for somebody to meet him here. They specifically chose this spot so nobody would see them. And we just fucking saw him.
Yeah.
And then we park the car. We get out. We're like, all right, well, let's just film this and get out of here quickly. And like 30 minutes, like not 30 minutes, but like 100 feet further down are these guys that with a truck and they open up and pull out guns.
Yeah.
And they just start like shooting guns in the desert.
Yeah.
I was so freaked out that
I am
day.
standing on the top of the hill wearing this fucking bright red thing. Like, just don't shoot me. Because if you shot me, there's no fucking, like, no one will get
We're in the
you.
middle of nowhere.
You're
We're in the middle
fine.
of a desert. We
You-
just passed
you
this
get away with
guy
it.
about to do a drug deal or sign on for like a contract killing. And there are these like other guys with like shotguns shooting at
Practicing,
nothing
yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
I almost, when that was happening, I did have signal on my phone, and
Oh.
I was thinking, you know what I should do is send out a mass text or a tweet that's like, hey, anybody, if I get shot in the desert today, here's these guys.
Oh,
The people
God.
shooting guns, I wasn't really concerned about. 'Cause
Yeah, that
whatever.
guy was.
We've gone out to do that. For
People go
video
out to the
Yeah,
desert
before.
to shoot guns, but the biker hiding like amongst the cliffs and stuff, that freaked me out.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you
because
didn't
it was-
wave. You didn't. You just
I think
made
I-
eye contact.
I-
We kept saying, Sean, whistle the song of peace. And you
Yeah.
didn't do
I
it.
waved. I waved.
You waved.
Yeah. When we're filming, I always wave. 100% of the
Yeah,
time.
I smile,
Doesn't matter
wave.
what costume I'm wearing, covered in blood, whatever. I always have, how's it going? Like, I always
It
do that.
isn't a filming outdoors without Sean's trademark. Sorry.
Yep, that's exactly what I do. Sorry.
Down here. Sorry.
Sorry.
Have a good one. Have a good one.
You got to wonder if maybe those guys are like telling stories about you now and being like, I was out there for a routine pickup. I saw these guys wearing robes filming each other.
Some kind of cult ritual about to happen. They were in red robes. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
But we had a camera, so that invalidates everything. When there's a camera involved,
No, that's even scarier. They're filming this for the world cult shit.
Who knows what that's for? Yeah.
Now, Shawn, you know that's not true because we had a fake dead body and we were burying it out in the desert or not in the desert, in like an abandoned
field.
or a field in Texas.
Yeah.
And a guy with a gun, hand on his gun, walked up and said, "This is my property. What is this?" And then he saw the camera and went, "Oh, you're filming something. Cool." And walked away. So
true.
That's what the camera does. You can do anything as long as there's a camera there. Then they go, "Oh, you're filming."
You know what, though? I think
that could have been a real body.
The camera is a novelty that doesn't exist anymore. Like back then, even back then, it was like, "Oh, you got a camera? That's pretty cool." Yeah. But now it's everyone has a camera, and that's not special anymore. And that guy would be pissed against.
You know what, Shawn? I don't know. I think if you have I actually think that it's starting to get to where I think for a while I agreed, but now we're hitting a point where if you actually have a dedicated camera,
not a phone,
not just a phone. If you're doing this, who
Yeah.
cares? Everyone's doing that. But if you have we have a legit cinema video camera. If you have that, you actually bought a video camera. These guys know what they're doing.
Dude, that's how I cut the line. At E3, like 2 or 3 years ago, there was Naughty America had a booth showing off VR porn.
Yeah.
And I was doing like interviews, and I was like, I want to interview guys. And I walked up, and they said, sorry, you need to be on this media list. But I had a big-ass camera, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll interview you.
Yeah,
So,
they see, the size of your camera, they think, oh,
there
you're
you go.
legit.
Legit.
So, see?
Wow, size matters.
Walk softly, carry a big camera. See? You think I'm joking.
Yeah.
Think I'm playing. Tried to told you.
All right. Well, thank you for your
Okay,
call.
thank you for your call.
One last
Good
question
job.
for you.
HauntedSponge's, or what was his name?
1 second.
Nope.
He's gone.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
What were you gonna ask him?
Well, his podcast is about this thing called the Blackwood Bugman, but I didn't know if that was like a real urban legend that he made a podcast about, or he just made one up. And I was gonna ask him.
Tweet it at Shawn.
You'll never know.
Hit him up through
I'll
Twitter.
never know.
Isn't it
all
better not
bullshit.
knowing?